Throughout all your lives, you took the protector Manjingosha as the Lord of your Buddha family, and for the sake of all, eliminated the excellent path of Bodhisattva's way of life. To Shantideva, son of the Buddhas, I pay homage. Umahong Mahangur Bodhisattva Shantideva Mahaska Bodhicitta Sarva Siddha Hum. Good morning, everyone. From Minnesota, Pio Lake, good morning. And first of all, I would like to say welcome to all of you again, and thank you all for being here and joining us for Dharma teachings and practice. And I also like to say Happy New Year. And I wish you all good health and happy life, peace to all of you. New Year is the perfect time to reconnect it with your spiritual practice. If you become a sort of lazy, this time you have to reconnect it, your practice. And it is a time full of hope and potential. So I hope it brings a lot of happiness, love, and harmony. As my root teacher, Kanchen Jingme Ponso, advised before he passed away, do not lose your own path around Tsukmasher. And the other one is Yensim Matu, meaning do not disturb others' mind. You see, do not lose your own path and do not disturb others' mind. Looks very simple advice, but if you really think about it, there's a profound meaning behind this advice. So you have to think like, what is your own path? How do not lose that? How to stick to it? How to avoid disturbing others' mind. So that could be, I think we should remember his heart advice. For our New Year's resolution, maybe. Do not lose your own path. Do not disturb others' mind. Longchenpa advice kind of similar to this. He said, wherever you might stay in the villages, maybe cities or caves, or maybe monasteries, or wherever. And you might stay with the people or by yourself. Most important is to remain self-reliant is my heart advice. Meaning, you have to stick to your own path. don't sort of like copy others, like, hey, this person said smoke is very happy, make you happy, so I want to do it. I want to try this and that. That is, you are losing on your path. You have to really, no matter wherever you stay or with people or by yourself, you have to, you can't lose your own path. So this advice, I think we should remember at least once every day. Again, you might know this, but do not lose your own path. Do not disturb others' mind. That's what his advice. Just right before he passed away. So don't lose your own path is very important these days. Anyway, I am wishing you a happy new year. So you might already have like your New Year resolution. You may not have, but just if you don't have, then think about that. Now I'm going to continue the teaching on the guide to the Bodhisattva's way of life by the great Master Shantideva, who is behind me. Can you see it? And remember, I'm going to pick up where I left off last class. But if you are joining this teaching for the first time, then you can watch the previous teachings on the topic on YouTube so that you will understand more about this teaching and this lineage, the Shantideva's lineage teaching. And you will understand more the benefit of bodhicitta. So we're on first chapter, so which is benefit of bodhicitta. And I'm very happy to have the opportunity to teach this teaching again to all of you, because it is essential instruction for everyone who really wants to develop a kind mind, which is very based, sort of the foundation of your practice. If you don't have a kind mind, no matter what, you practice dzogchen, you practice emptiness, you practice lobjong, whatever, it doesn't work. So this is the important instruction. No matter who you are, you put this instruction into your practice and you can develop a kind mind so that you have a great foundation for your other meditation. And also you have a happy and meaningful life once you have a kind mind. They are many, benefits of this teaching. It can develop your capacities, your great compassion and wisdom, and it can also purify your negative deeds. It can give you satisfaction so that you will be very happy. It can lead to the attainment of enlightenment, liberation. So that's the characteristic of bodhicitta. So it's very important to study, to practice, right? And then it's not just enough to study, but put them into your day-to-day life. So I hope you remember we are like 26th stanza. So we already taught in this chapter, the first chapter. I hope you remember those stanzas and the meaning, and then you practice. So now, as usual, take a moment and correct your motivation, which means investigate and look at what you're doing at this moment, what you're thinking, and correct your motivation, and then listen carefully to the teachings. As Khenpo Sherab said, if you listen to the teachings motivated by selfish mind, then, Dharma teachings will no longer benefit your life. And the Dharma teachings is not part of your life. So therefore, we must correct our motivation and try to teach, try to listen without sort of these defects, this negative thoughts and emotions. So it's important. So please correct your motivation and then listen. Now, the traditional way, when you teach the way of Bodhisattva, as many of you remember this, according to Bhakti Rinpoche's instruction, he summarizes the entire this text into 4 parts based on a bodhicitta aspiration prayer by the great the great Buddhist master Nagarjuna. Remember, may spring precious bodhicitta, take birth where it has not arisen. Where it has arisen, never made, I know this, made never win, but continue to grow forevermore. Perish. So the first 3 chapters, right? What are they? The first 3 chapters, the benefit of bodhicitta chapter. Second chapter, the confession of negativity chapter. And then fully adopting bodhicitta chapter. These 3 chapters that give rise to the precious bodhicitta where it has not yet arisen. So chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, right? And then the next 3 chapters, the carefulness chapter, awareness chapter, and patient chapter. These 3 chapters that prevent the decrease of the precious bodhicitta where it has arisen. So chapter 4, 5, 6. And then the next 3 chapter, the diligence chapter, concentration chapter, and wisdom chapter. These 3 chapters that not only prevent the decrease of precious bodhicitta, but cause it to increase more and more, develop more and more. So chapter 7, chapter 8, chapter 9. And then the last chapter, of course, which dedicates all the virtues that has been accumulated through the practice of this whole text for the benefit of others. So that's chapter 10. So they're chapter 10. So this is important to understand this summary, because many commentaries of Tibetan masters followed this summary of Bhakti Rinpoche's oral instruction that is based on Nagarjuna's aspirational bodhicitta prayer. So if you understand this summary, then you kind of understand the whole text, this teaching. That's why it's very important. Now begin with the first chapter of the Way of the Bodhisattva on the benefits of generating bodhicitta. As you know, it begins with two important bases, right? The physical and mental capacities. Remember, the first is explaining the physical basis necessary for developing bodhicitta. That's why in the beginning, there is a stanza that explains the precious human body with 8 freedoms and 10 advantages as a basis for developing this precious bodhicitta. Then second is explaining the mental capacity, mental intelligence, basis necessary for developing precious bodhicitta. So these two bases are necessary for generating bodhicitta. So if you think about that, if you have those, then you appreciate, you're very fortunate. Then you will be able to develop bodhicitta. In order to be able to listen to the Dharma teachings and practice them, we need a human body, human form with all these freedoms and advantages. So we have to reflect on these two freedoms, and we must fully recognize our good fortune. That's very important. Whenever you start to practice this Dharma teaching, that's how Shantideva start with this teaching, the first chapter. And then after that, Shantideva explains the benefits of bodhicitta itself in great detail. So I hope you remember these teachings. Otherwise, what is the point to study this important teaching? So if you last year, we started this teaching almost like 5 months. Now, if you don't remember any of these stanzas and their meaning, then what's the point? That's not how you study. So you have to remember. If you don't remember, go back and then study and listen again. This chapter, the record, the video teachings on YouTube. So listen again. So then after that, Shantideva, there is a general benefit of bodhicitta, and there is the extraordinary benefits of bodhicitta, and there is a summarizing the benefits of bodhicitta. So that's the summary of what I taught so far. Okay. Now I'm going to pick up where I left off last class, which is the 26th stanza. It says, "It is the source of happiness for all wandering beings. It is the elixir remedying the suffering of sentient beings. How can the merit of this precious mind be measured?" There we go. Now you can see that's the root text, the 26th stanza. Okay. So this stanza talks about the benefit of aspiration bodhicitta. The Buddha said that the benefits of bodhicitta are limitless because bodhicitta is the source of happiness for all wandering beings. Therefore, you can measure its merit. How can the merit of this precious mind be measured? That's what Shantideva says here. Because the bodhicitta, the benefits of bodhicitta is limitless. So therefore, you can measure its merit. Why does bodhicitta have the power to benefit wandering sentient beings? Why does it fulfill individual worldly wishes? That is because when this pure intention arises in your mind, then your impure, selfish mind is transformed. Okay? It's like a very dirty sort of container transforming into a pure golden container. Then it becomes very valuable, very precious, right? So when your selfish mind transforms into a precious bodhicitta, then you will easily attain your wishes, your capacities. That's why I remember Shantideva said, those who wish to overcome the abundant suffering of mundane existence, those who wish to remove the unhappiness of sentient beings should never forsake and abandon bodhicitta. Do you remember that? I recite this stanza at least once a day and then think about bodhicitta every morning. So if you want to benefit everyone, you need bodhicitta. And if you really wish and want to be free from the selfish mind, then absolutely you need to practice and develop this precious bodhicitta in your mind, because its value has been seen through complete examination. The Buddha examined this precious bodhicitta with his enlightened mind. Therefore, bodhicitta, the benefit of bodhicitta is limitless. Therefore, you can't measure its merits. So bodhicitta frees you from self-centeredness, and it brings you a really loving heart, and it is the source of happiness and joy. That's what Shantideva says here. Because the more you fully understand and practice bodhicitta, the less you suffer. If you are a bodhisattva, and when you have an opportunity to help others with your bodhicitta mind, your joy and happiness is immeasurable. And you will have fewer difficulties in your life. Then the negative situations will have less power to influence your life, because of this precious attitude. This jewel of mind makes you so happy. So you can't measure its merit, its benefit. That's what this stanza explains. But ordinary people, with no knowledge and with no experience of the benefit of bodhicitta, you see, they always experience difficulties in their lives because they do not know how to handle difficulties in their lives. Therefore, Shantideva really wants us to deeply understand the benefits of bodhicitta first. That's why the first chapter, the whole chapter, first chapter is about benefits of bodhicitta, general, specific, way, you have to study and practice the benefit of bodhicitta. That's why Shantideva explains here. And Shantideva clearly says that those who really wish to overcome the suffering of individual existence, you should never forsake the awakening mind, the bodhicitta. And if you want to benefit everyone, you need bodhicitta, right? And if you want happiness and befriend everyone, you need to develop bodhicitta. Therefore, you cannot be separate from this precious bodhicitta. With bodhicitta, you will achieve whatever you wish and whatever you want. Really, you can. I told you this many, many times, but if you possess bodhicitta, then it doesn't matter if you have any other practices. But it really matters even if you have everything, mind training, teachings, preliminary practices, all the way shamatha, vipassana, dzogchen practices. If you lack bodhicitta, all this other practice means nothing. Because there's no way to reach enlightenment. So therefore, bodhicitta is so important. And it's not that really difficult to develop if you really want. Generally speaking, there are so many methods to practice Buddhism, the Buddha Dharma, but the best of these different methods is through practicing bodhicitta. You see, all these stanzas in this first chapter show that bodhicitta is the most outstanding method to accumulate positive thoughts and merit and virtue. Therefore, bodhicitta is what we should study. Bodhicitta is what we should think about every single day. Bodhicitta is what we should meditate on if you don't have it. Whatever we encounter, never ever give up bodhicitta. That's why Shantideva says, should never forsake bodhicitta. If you already have bodhicitta, Nagarjuna says that you have to increase it more. If you don't have bodhicitta, you have to develop it, no matter how difficult it is. if we rely on totally bodhicitta, it makes our activities of body, speech, and mind pure and meaningful. That's why in this stanza, benefits of bodhicitta is limitless. Therefore, you can't measure its merit. Okay? Now, the next 27th stanza. There we go. If the simple wish to benefit others, think carefully, okay? Listen carefully, this stanza. If the simple wish to benefit others is better than making offerings to the Buddhas, then what need is there to speak of actual deeds that bring happiness and benefit to all beings? Panbarsamba tsamji chang, sanjin choli champana, simchin mali tamji je dedun tsunba mujirgu. So this stanza talks about, again, the benefits of action bodhicitta. As it says in the sutra, Buddha, if you do all kinds of offerings to the Buddhas every day, it would not even come close to the one who has a mind holding the simple wish to benefit all beings. See, if just having the pure intention and wishing to help others is better than making offerings to the Buddhas every day, then of course, if you do something for others, not just only thinking, but if you act based on that pure intention, then it brings real joy and happiness. That's the kind of like, that's why it says here, it's better than making offerings to the Buddhas. Why? Why is it this simple wish to benefit others better than making offerings to the Buddhas? Why? Because if you really think, what the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas appreciate the most is your commitment to generate this pure intention, good intention, loving kindness, accumulation of positive karma, and practice action bodhicitta. That's what they want. You see, like Shantideva explained here, like everything is about bodhicitta. That's what he wants us to develop, to have, As Bhakti which said that the best offering to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas is your commitment to develop this precious mind of bodhicitta. And your, of course, spiritual practice. That's the best offering we can make. Through that, we can purify our negative karmas, thoughts, and because the goal of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas is just to benefit all sentient beings. That's what they want. So if we sort of do that and we make a commitment and practice bodhicitta, that's why Shantideva says this just a simple wish to benefit others is better, like the offering Buddhas. Do you understand why is that? Because, the goal of Buddhas It's just to benefit all sentient beings. So if you developed that kind of intention and act, based on that, it makes them very happy. That's why it is the best offering. They don't need our offerings. They don't need our money. They don't need candles and nothing. They want have us like us have, pure intention, love and kindness, compassion. That's what exactly I said. Do not disturb others' mind. That's what they want. So if you practice bodhicitta, then there is no need to make in sort of extra offerings to the Buddha's bodhisattvas. Do you remember Milarepa, the best Buddhist meditator, had nothing to offer, but he offered his genuine practice to his lineage, and he offered to his root teacher. That's the best offering. So basically, you can offer your lineage the genuine practice and make a commitment to develop bodhicitta. So that's what Shantideva says here. So we have to investigate whether we have developed this pure wish and intention of bodhicitta or not. That's this 27th stanza. Then the next 28th stanza. Okay, it says, although beings wish to avoid suffering, they actually chase after suffering itself. Although they want to be happy, out of ignorance, they destroy their own happiness as they would an enemy. This is so beautiful, which is like we really do this, exactly what we are doing. We wish avoid suffering, but we actually chase after suffering itself. So Shantideva points out here, we first need to recognize our own confusion about our lives because we cause harm to others. That means we destroy our peace of mind without even realizing it. So when we investigate, when we think about all sentient beings, we all want to avoid suffering, not only this life, but also avoid suffering in future lives, this life. Yet our wish and our actions contradict on each other because our actions are not always the cause of happiness. Do you remember the Four Noble Truths? We can think about this with the Four Noble Truths. The first two truths are the truth of suffering and then truth of cause of suffering, right? So we don't want suffering and we don't want it cause suffering. But we continue to create cause of suffering and experience the truth of suffering. Then we have the second two truths, the truth of the cessation and the truth of the path, right? That lead into the cessation. So while following these two truths would lead to the truth of cessation, but we avoid this and do not want to follow the path. So we end up chasing after the opposite of what we need to. We continue to follow the cause of our suffering instead of the path. So we continue to experience suffering instead of its cessation. So we harm each other very often. Of course, it is the cause of suffering. It takes our freedom and peace, all this, what we want, take away. So we actually are chasing towards suffering itself in these and future lives. Because, Shantideva says, because of that is because out of ignorance, we destroy our own happiness. My teachers always give example, like just as a fish is caught with temptation. Temptations don't give what a fish wants. Instead, they trick the fish into getting hooked, but they don't realize they are in danger because out of their ignorance, they chase temptation into suffering. So likewise, we also want to be happy, but we do not know what to do and what to avoid. Because of out of ignorance, we destroy our own happiness as our enemy. This is why we really need to develop bodhicitta and help each other. People, sometimes say, you don't need spiritual practice. You don't need instructions. You can take care of yourself. But that's not really true. Without spiritual practice, without instructions, we really don't know what to adopt, what to avoid. That means we destroy our own happiness. We really, really want to be happy, but we destroy it. Is there like genuine happiness that we can experience? Definitely, definitely. Genuine happiness and total freedom will be there if we are able to let go of the things that harm us, harm others, such as our attachment, anger, and everything that make us suffer. We have to let go of everything that make us suffer each day and every minute. That's why we want spiritual Dharma practice. So that's the Shantideva, says here, we want to avoid suffering, but we actually chase after suffering itself. So why are we attached to so many things? So many things. The consequences of attachment is, for example, if I am like, if I'm attached to you, my students, oh, you all my students, then it brings me great fear of losing you. And then out of that fear, there's a jealousy that makes me suffer. But I don't want suffering. So I have to, if I don't want suffering from jealous, from fear, from, attachment, then I have to end my attachment to all of you and let it die as soon as it appears in my mind. If I am able to do that, then I will definitely see the greatest of it, which is real freedom and genuine happiness. And from that freedom and happiness, there is genuine love and compassion. That is what we call bodhicitta. If your mind and your emotions become very pleasant, then you have love, freedom, peacefulness, and joyfulness. But, it is difficult to let our attachment end and let it die because we are so afraid to invite the death of attachment and to live without it every single day. The question is, can we really end our attachment and let it die as soon as it appears in our mind? I don't think so. Not because we can't, but because we don't want to let go of our attachment. We just don't want. Why is it so difficult to let go of attachments, even though they cause suffering? We can see that clearly. Why is it so difficult to let go of it? As we investigate closely, it seems to have to do with expectations. For example, when you are attached to your partner, you want your partner to stay with you forever. As much as you attach to a person, you will suffer just as much when this person is no longer there with you. It's clear. If you would not attach to someone, you would not be sad once they're gone. So attachment to your husband, your wife, your children, your family, etc., etc. If you let go of your attachment, you think that it brings you tremendous fear of losing those things in your life. That's why you don't want to let it go. Attachment is clearly not love. Even though you say, I love you, it's totally superficial. So you don't avoid the cause of suffering. That's what Shantideva said. You're chasing after the suffering, even though you don't want it. To let go of attachment doesn't mean to let go of the person you want with, right? Let go of attachment is also not a one-time decision. Instead, it's a day-to-day commitment and practice that involves changing the way you experience and to react through practice bodhicitta. But we just don't want to let it go. That's why samsara has no end. That's why Shantideva says here, although you wish to avoid suffering, you actually chase after suffering itself. Although you want to be happy, out of ignorance, you destroy your own happiness. I think it's absolutely true. Our wishes and our actions are completely contradictory if you really investigate and closely and deeply. So think about that. Now the next 29th stanza. It says, for those who are destitute of happiness and burdened with all sufferings, bodhicitta will satisfy them with all happiness and eliminate all their sufferings. Kanjik Devi Pongwatang, Dungar Marden Tedagla, Deva Kunjit Sambadang, Dungar Tamchit Ushitjang. This is so beautiful. Shantideva says here, for those beings who are destitute of happiness, and for those who are facing a lot of suffering, they should practice bodhicitta. Because through the great kindness of bodhicitta, it will satisfy them with all temporary and the ultimate happiness. And through the great compassion of bodhicitta, it will eliminate all suffering in this and future lives. Okay? So through the great kindness of bodhicitta, it will satisfy you. Through the great compassion of bodhicitta, it will eliminate all the suffering that you are in, in this and future lives. That's why it says here, bodhicitta satisfies you with all happiness because of great love. And bodhicitta also eliminates all your suffering because of great compassion. Therefore, bodhicitta will bring you mental joyfulness. Bodhicitta will bring you emotional great love and compassion. Bodhicitta will bring you physical blissfulness. That's one of the Buddha Shakyamuni's sutras. In the sutras, he explains like that. Okay, so if you practice bodhicitta, you own the bodhicitta. It will satisfy you. It will eliminate all the suffering, this life and future life. So practice bodhicitta. And then the next 38th stanza. I think I read in Tibetan. Right? So it says, as bodhicitta also dispels ignorance, what virtue could be equal to that? What friend could compare to it? What merit is similar to it? Tumukjana sershitpa, dedan gemson galayos, bodhicitta eliminates ignorance. So what virtue could be equal to that? Dendi hijang kalayos, dendi hijang kalayos, what friend compared to it. Sonam tenagang kalayos. So in this, in the last stanza we just talked about, Shantideva explained bodhicitta satisfies us with happiness and eliminates our suffering because of great love and compassion, right? Now in this stanza here, through its great wisdom, bodhicitta teaches the points of what to do and what to avoid. Therefore, it clears away and it dispels the ignorance of misunderstanding what to do and what to avoid. So the characteristic of bodhicitta is love, compassion, and wisdom. Okay? As Bhattam, which is said, bodhicitta has basically three qualities: love, compassion, and wisdom. So if we think about it, this stanza, Shantideva explains here, where is there any other comparable power of virtue? Practice bodhicitta. So these days, Buddhist people would like to build beautiful temples and, stupas and do all kinds of pujas. But you know this, they did not originally come from the Buddha's teachings. During the Buddha's time, the heart of Buddhist practice and the basis of our enlightenment is bodhicitta. Bodhicitta also at that time, like Buddha's time, it's not complicated. It's easy to understand in like normal, like ordinary people, love, compassion, wisdom. That's it. But then after that, hundreds after that, then, Tibetan masters, Indian masters, they explain more bodhicitta, then they give different kind of characteristics, and then it's kind of harder and harder to understand. Now there is like the Paranjana Paramita, there is a bodhicitta chapter, Gelug schools, they practice, they study that chapter for 3 years. It's so detailed and it's so difficult. We don't need that. Bodhicitta is so simple, so easy. As Bhattam which said, wisdom, compassion, love. That's it. So last chapter, Shantideva said, like, and this first chapter that after fully considering it for many eons, the Buddhas recognized just this bodhicitta as beneficial, and it brings genuine happiness into our lives. It's clear. You don't have to confuse. Like if you, for example, do all kinds of pujas, say prayers, not necessarily brings genuine happiness and dispel ignorance. ignorance and all that kind of, dispel all your obscurations and obstacles. It depends on how you do it. But when you practice bodhicitta, it's clear. Even you would like practice 1 minute, it will change your mind right away. So therefore, Shantideva, the bodhicitta, makes our mind strong and courageous and take away and it's say like dispel, right? Dispel ignorance. The power of bodhicitta is that it changes our self-centered mind. That's the bottom line. So that we stop harming others. We stop harming ourselves if we change our self-centeredness, selfishness. And we will understand how to develop good relationships with others. It teaches the points of what to do, what to avoid. So therefore, where could we find such a helpful and great friend? And if you meditate on bodhicitta for even 1 minute, you can create great virtue and gather accumulations and purify obscurations, bad karma. So if you really deeply think about it, where is there such merit similar to this bodhicitta? Okay? So that's why if you don't think, don't investigate, don't focus on these stanzas and don't practice, you don't understand. Is it true? All this benefit? It's not. You don't understand. But if you really concentrate and practice and think about the meaning of these stanzas, and then practice, sort of put them into your practice, and you will understand. Everybody will understand the benefits of this practice. Why don't you practice this? Why you want different kinds of things? So this is the most important. I every single day think about bodhicitta. So yeah, I'm going to stop here. Now with this stanza, Shantideva talks about the benefits of bodhicitta. The purpose of understanding these benefits is that if you really think this precious bodhicitta must be developed in your mind, then you will pursue the methods for developing bodhicitta if it has not yet been born in your own mind. And if you understand the benefits of this bodhicitta, you will not let it degenerate once it is developed, but you will increase it more and more because then you understand the benefits. And then it can make you happy. It brings joyfulness, happiness, the best relationship with others. Then no matter what you say, what you do, all your actions, if you do, or based on this, very pure, very meaningful. So think about that. Okay, now meditate. Teaching and meditation must go together. Otherwise, only teaching, no meditation, then you really don't feel, you don't have experience of the teaching, you know? So, as you know, when you meditate, you need concentration, you need mindfulness. Mindfulness always brings concentration. Concentration brings insight. So you need a lot of good strategy and good methods. That's why you need spiritual Dharma practice, Dharma teachings. You just cannot force yourself to the meditation. It's difficult to accomplish your meditation by force. It's never worked that way. But with these good methods for your meditation will help you in a deep way and brings you good experience, enthusiasm. So you have to be very gentle with yourself. You have to be comfortable with your meditation. And more importantly, you need to trust the instructions, like, for example, the instructions how to practice bodhicitta. I give you so many different kinds of instructions. You have to trust them. It can change, it can transform your mind, your selfish mind into bodhicitta. You have to trust them. And then you have to trust yourself. I can do this. So the first stage of meditation is to stop distractions and make your mind clear and more sort of lucid. So it will help you to make that happen. If you choose a quiet place and then you sit in a very comfortable position to meditate, and then you breathe naturally, and then you correct your motivation. And then after that, you take refuge and cultivate bodhicitta. Whether you say or recite the refuge and bodhicitta prayers, or you just visualize Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, and all sentient beings. When you start meditation, you just visualize them in your mind. That's fine. But without refuge and bodhicitta, it's not good, your meditation. So that's always how you start with your meditation. No matter like 1 minute or 1 hour, it doesn't matter. You have to take these stages. Okay? Of course, you know that, but just wanted to say it again. Now, today's, again, we need to practice bodhicitta based on the realization that all sentient beings have an equal right to be happy and to overcome suffering. No question. Nobody wants suffering. So you need to think others include all sentient beings, means animals, humans, all sentient beings have like your own life. You have to really think about that. And in this way, you will understand all are equal. That's very important. Based on, according to Pattern, which is instructions, first we have to develop this equanimity, right? So to understand, deeply to understand all are equal, this is the foundation. Then based on that, you can develop your love, your compassion, all that. So I think first you should try to think about your personality, like, like think about your normal actions, like day-to-day actions. All your actions, when I say actions, like your verbal action, your physical action, your mental action, right? All your actions, you have to think about like a day, like your actions. Are they really bad? Are they really good? Are they bad and good? Are they, maybe 90% good, maybe 10% not good? So you have to like think about really like your personality or like who you are, like so that you can understand your actions. When I think about myself, every morning, like think about, I always see my actions, no matter what, they are always sort of based on my selfishness. So then, based on this self-centeredness, then no matter what you do, they're not pure. Your actions are not pure, not even close to bodhicitta. So that's why I always think I need to practice bodhicitta, because I can clearly see when I investigate my actions, always, almost 100%, they're based on my selfishness. Something about me, not about others at all. Sometimes, like when I teach, I hope really this teachings will help them, or, like nothing has to do with me sometimes, but most time, like my actions are like based on my selfishness. So then as long as you have this selfishness, then you are not bodhisattva, your actions are not pure. Based on selfishness, you harm others. So then it's not good. So then you need to, if that's the case, then you need to practice bodhicitta. That's the best antidote, right? Because it can reduce our harmful actions. If we be able to transform our selfishness into bodhicitta, then we can eliminate our actions that are harmful. But maybe you have a different kind of emotions that always, harmful. Me, everything is based on my selfishness, my attachment, my anger, my ignorance, everything. even like my practice is based on myself, or I want to practice so that I'm not going to suffer it, or I want to I want to achieve enlightenment. Me, everything is me. So that's not how you do it. Not like bodhisattvas practice. So you have to, like, when we practice 5 to 10 minutes, whatever, you have to really like, this meditation, but most, they accept the ultimate bodhicitta meditation. Otherwise, there's analytical meditation and rest and meditation. So this bodhicitta practice is not rest and meditation. You have to think, analyze yourself, your actions, think about others, the sufferings, happiness, all this taking and giving and throwing, all this you are thinking, right? So it's very important to understand how to practice bodhicitta, The bottom line is we have to reduce our harmful negative emotions in our thoughts, and then our act like physically through practice bodhicitta. You have to investigate. You have to think about yourself. How do you make your life happy? How do you make your life very meaningful? Not just happy, but meaningful, without too much sort of depends on all these negative emotions. You have to think about, are you satisfied with your life? Are you happy with your life right now, at this moment? If yes, then you have to think like how to, as Shantideva said here, like how to increase, how to develop it more so that you will be a great human being. If you are not happy with your life, then how do you make it better? So the point is, what kind of life do you want, and how do you achieve that goal? That's the point. Are you working on it? What do you think about your death? Are you preparing for it? Or you don't care about your death as long as you are happy right now? So this is kind of like how you develop yours. First, bodhicitta also, like, first, not think about others. People say, like, oh, when I practice bodhicitta, I have to think about others, ignore myself, ignore my unhappiness and my suffering. Yeah, that's your intellectual understanding. That means you are not really doing it. If you really practice bodhicitta, you start with yourself. First, you start with yourself and make yourself better. Then you can think about others. How can I help them? How can I, give them happiness and take away their suffering, But as long as you are suffering, as long as you are not happy with your life, how can you help others? I mean, there's no way. So you have to really think when you meditate, okay, this is I want, this kind of life I want. And in order to achieve that goal, I need to do this. Oh yeah, I care my death, after death. I believe, the future. I'm preparing for it. I need to prepare for it. So what is the preparation? All that kind of things. You do those kind of things. And then you make a commitment. This is my life, my goal. And in order to achieve it, I need to do this. This is my commitment. Not just like, once a month, once a year, but every single day I want to stick with my commitment. I don't want to break my commitment. That's the best. Shantideva says here, that's the best offering to the Buddha's bodhisattvas. It's your commitment. So meditate with these thoughts, okay? Make your commitment until you achieve that commitment. That's how you practice bodhicitta. And then once you, maybe this takes very long time, maybe it takes very short time. But once you achieve that goal, then you start think about others, then you start think about others, how to help them, right? But first, when you practice bodhicitta, as I understand, the first you have to think, I don't want to harm others. That's the first thing. Not think about help others, because as long as you are not bodhisattva, as an ordinary person, you always harm others. So first we have to take care of that. I'm not going to harm others, through my physical action, verbal action, mental action. I don't want to think about this person is bad, right? So mental action. I don't want to think about, or do something, this person, don't. So you have to sort of prevent that kind of harmful action first. And then once you purify that, then you have a capacity to help others. Then you think about others. So that's how you practice bodhicitta. So love, compassion, right? Love, compassion. The compassion is the key. The compassion comes with love because you don't want harm others. And then compassion comes with wisdom. Then you know how to help others. So think about your personality. What kind of person are you? Are you loving? You are compassionate person, you are selfish person, you are angry person, you are what kind of person you are, and then how do you want to change that? Change that every single day, not in the future, because death is coming. You don't know. Maybe you don't have much time. So start right here today. So if you want, you can meditate and then you find some solutions, some sort of defects, like some problems within yourself. You can write down and make a commitment, write down, and then you just go with it. That's why my root teachers said, don't lose your own path. So once you make a commitment, don't break it. Most people just follow that commitment. Like, it's very strange, right? I go to the gym every day and talk to people sometimes. Oh, this is my, today's, oh, that's my New Year resolution. My New Year resolution is I want to be healthy. So I'm coming here every day, exercise. And then they do like maybe 10 days, 20 days, then they never come. What's the point? If that you make a new resolution or New Year, you have to. That's why my root teachers, Longchen, they said, don't lose your own path. Once you have that path, your goal, whatever it is, no matter how difficult it is, you have to achieve it. So that's how you practice. Okay, so practice today. Practice for 5 minutes here. Start right now.